How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great day. In this video, I'll be giving you my UFC Vegas 20 main event prediction and co-main event prediction. As you can see, two fights have already fallen off the card, which I hope doesn't continue happening, but as we've seen in the previous cards, I think that's why they add more fights, because they just know with COVID and other problems, we're just never gonna have a full fight card in a while. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the card, but I hope the main event and the co-main event stay intact. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you my predictions, my picks for the undercard, and then we'll jump into the co-main event and the main event. So in the co-main event of the evening, we have Nikita Krylov taking on Magomed Ankalaev, and in this fight, Ankalaev is definitely the big favorite. I don't think Krylov is getting all the respect he deserves because he's been in the UFC longer, he's fought longer. I don't think he's that big of an underdog. As we've seen, a lot of these underdogs can cash, they can come in, they can get it done. So I really don't think Krylov should be disrespected in this fight. I do think that Ankalaev can definitely impose his will and just kind of brute force Krylov. But at the same time, Krylov is very dangerous with the submissions, and if Ankalaev just dives in for takedowns, gets a little too careless, Krylov can definitely submit him. So I think that's something to keep in mind, and I think it's a closer fight if you think something like that, because as we've seen, Ankalaev has definitely lost via decision before one time. He got caught, you know, and Krylov is at that level to where he can throw up a submission off of his back or do something sketchy. We just have to see. Ankalaev gets hurt on the feet, dives in for a takedown. Krylov could definitely go for a submission. But I do think Ankalaev overall, if he fights safe, if he's able to grind him against the cage, take him down, and even on the feet, Ankalaev, I think a lot of people just think he's probably going to grind him out, but I do think on the feet he has a lot of power. You see him switching stances constantly. He can fight from any stance, and he can definitely press forward, land some big bombs, and possibly hurt Krylov and finish him. But I do think more likely he's going to want to play this fight safe, keep him against the fence, and possibly take him down if he can start tiring him out. But Krylov is very tough, and on the feet, he can definitely throw a lot of kicks. And, you know, you never know what can happen. I think this is a lot closer fight than most think. But I do want to side with Ankalaev if he fights this fight safe. But, you know, in the end of the day, Krylov could kick his head off, go for a submission. So we'll have to see. But I think Ankalaev fights it safe, gets that decision victory, and I don't know if he destroys him. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a close fight, so I'll go with Ankalaev by a decision. And then we move on into the main event of the evening, and we have Jairzinho Rozenstruik taking on Ciryl Gane. And in this fight, man, I don't think this fight goes 5 rounds. I really don't. I just don't think it's going to be one of those fights where you see two heavyweights fight all 5 rounds and it's one of the boringest fights you've ever seen. I think one of these guys is definitely going to, especially in a smaller cage, there's just no way no one gets knocked out here. For Rozenstruik, he definitely looked better in his last fight against JDS. I think he really looked more put together, a little bit more calm. He threw a lot of leg kicks in that fight. He needs to close the distance in this fight, because I think with Gane, he can definitely keep this fight at a distance. And man, this dude is very athletic for his size. You see him bouncing around. He has that kickboxing Muay Thai background, and he goes for a lot of switching stances. So he's very agile on his feet, but with all that agility, he can just land some elbows, come in really quickly, and just knock you out. It's just one of those fights where, again, you could pick a guy and then he gets knocked out, and then he won't ever get knocked out for like 4 more fights, but this one fight he just gets caught. I think more than likely though, I feel like Gane is the more safer fighter. I think if he plays because he's not gonna be running in here trying to fight Rozenstruik and just brawl with him. I just really don't see that kind of thing. I think he fights this fight safe, but at the same time looks to open up with the counters, with the kicks. and kind of just pick his positions, throw nasty body kicks as well. I think he has more to his arsenal than just looking for like a one big, hook or a one big, overhand or anything like that. Rozenstruik, on the other hand, I think he needs to press forward, get in his face, close the distance, and get into kind of a wild exchange, and maybe throw a lot of leg kicks if he can hurt Gane. But at the same time, Gane's gonna be throwing kicks too. So for me, I can see Rozenstruik winning by knockout, but only if he like gets really intense and gets Gane into like a wild exchange and just knocks him out. But overall, I can see Gane picking him apart. I'm not really worried about Gane's cardio either. I think he can definitely hang. But granted, Rozenstruik could definitely hang too. But I just think Gane has more ways to knock him out. I mean, that's really what I'm looking at right here. So, and I do think this fight definitely ends in the first 2 rounds. I don't think this is going to the 5th round. Maybe they respect each other too much and it goes later, but I definitely think one of these guys getting caught. And like I said, Gane, I just think he has more to his arsenal versus like one big punch. So we'll definitely see what happens here. Small octagon, someone's getting knocked out, but I'm going with Ciryl Gane to defeat Jairzinho Rozenstruik by knockout. You know what, I'll go round number 2. So that'll do it, guys. Those are my main event, co-main event picks. Just a little bit opinion. We'll see what happens on it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate hitting a like button, subscribing, whatever, just your time watching the videos. Hope everyone enjoys the event, and I'll see you guys next week.